This is the news they didn't want you to hear. But the list is finally out, and the names are shaking the very foundations of the country. If you thought the fight against insurgency was just about bullets and airstrikes, you need to pay close attention, because the United States government has just opened a new front in this war, and this time they are coming for the bank accounts. The headline you saw is 100% accurate. The United States has officially frozen the assets of 17 individuals and 6 firms implicated in sponsoring Boko Haram and other terror networks in Nigeria. For years we have asked, who is sponsoring these guys? Who is buying the weapons? Today, we are starting to get those answers, and some of the names might sound familiar, while others are the shadowy figures operating behind the scenes. Let's get straight into the details of this explosive development. The United States Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, known as OFAC, has released a massive 3,000-page sanctions document. Buried within those pages are the names of Nigerians accused of having deep links to terrorist organizations like Boko Haram and the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL. This isn't just a warning, this is a financial lockdown. The assets of these individuals in the United States, if they have any, are now frozen. But the bigger blow is that no US person or entity is allowed to do business with them. That means if they try to move money through the international SWIFT system or use any bank that touches the US dollar, they are blocked. Among the names released, we have Saleh Yusuf Adamo. He is not a small player. The US government has explicitly accused him of funding Boko Haram. Imagine that! While our soldiers are sleeping in the bush fighting to protect us, there are individuals allegedly moving money to keep the enemy armed. Then we have Babestan Ademuleru and Abu Abdullah ibn Umar al-Barnawi. If you follow the insurgency news, the name al-Barnawi is like royalty in the world of terror. This family has been at the center of the ISWAP and Boko Haram split for years. We also see Abu Musab al-Barnawi, Khalid al-Barnawi, and Ibrahim Ali al-Hassan listed. These are heavy hitters. The list continues with Abu Bakr ibn Muhammad al-Mainuki, who is linked to ISIL, and a certain Namdi Benson, who is accused of cybercrime. It seems the terror network is not just about ideology anymore. It is about cyber theft and digital money laundering to fund their operations. Now, I need you to pause for a second. This is the kind of fearless reporting you won't get on mainstream TV, where they are scared to call names. We are bringing you the raw facts as they drop. In 2026, if you appreciate this update and want us to keep digging for the truth, please smash that like button right now. It helps the algorithm push this video to more Nigerians who need to wake up. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next part of this exposure. The timing of this release is not an accident. It comes right in the middle of intense pressure from top US officials who believe that the Nigerian government hasn't done enough to curb religious violence. Just last week, we heard reports that some US lawmakers were pushing for sanctions against heavy political weights. Specifically, there was a bill that called for sanctions on Rabiu Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano State. They accused him of contributing to religious persecution, but, and this is key, no concrete evidence was presented in that bill to back up these claims. Interestingly, when the final OFAC list dropped on Monday, Kwankwaso's name was missing. It seems the US Treasury works on hard financial evidence, not just political allegations. However, the pressure is far from over. The bill that was circulating didn't just target individuals, it went after groups. It specifically mentioned the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, the Miyetti Allah Kauto Hore, and what they termed Fulani ethnic nomadic militias. The US lawmakers are demanding that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, provide an annual report on Christian persecution in Nigeria. Yes, you heard that right. Marco Rubio is now the man calling the shots at the US State Department, and his stance on religious freedom is very aggressive. The US government keeps claiming there is systemic Christian persecution in Nigeria, even though many Nigerians on the ground argue that the violence affects everyone, Muslims and Christians alike. This move by the US is sending a signal that they are tired of the business-as-usual approach. By targeting the financiers, they are trying to starve the beast. Terrorists need food, they need fuel, they need data for their phones, and they need weapons. All of that costs money. If Saleh Yusuf Adamo and his cohorts are truly the ones signing the checks, then freezing their assets is a major tactical victory. But the question remains, do they have assets in the US? Most of these guys operate with cash in sacks, hidden in bunkers or moved through informal hawala networks. But the OFAC designation is like a mark of Cain. It makes them radioactive. No reputable bank in Dubai, London or Lagos will want to touch them for fear of angering the Americans. The bill also threw a heavy challenge to the Nigerian government. It stated clearly that Abuja should thoroughly investigate instances of penalties or imprisonment under blasphemy laws or Sharia law and work to end these practices. This is a direct challenge to the sovereignty of our legal systems in the north, and it's going to cause a lot of diplomatic friction. The US claims that religious violence and the actions of these militant groups are a threat to US national security. When America says something is a threat to their national security, they usually follow up with action, sometimes drones, sometimes sanctions. We are also looking at the cybercrime angle with Nnamdi Benson. This is a new dimension. Usually, we think of Yahoo boys as separate from Boko Haram, but if there is a nexus, a connection between cyber fraud syndicates and terror financing, then we are in big trouble. It means the money stolen from your bank account or through romance scams could be ending up in the hands of insurgents in Sambisa Forest. This is why this list is so important. It connects the dots between different types of crime that are strangling our nation. The US has also frozen the assets of 6 firms. While the specific names of these firms are still being unraveled from the 3,000-page document, the implication is that these are front companies. They could be logistics companies, import-export businesses, or even NGOs used to wash dirty money. We're digging through the document to find the names of these companies, and as soon as we have them, you will be the first to know. This development is a wake-up call. The world is watching Nigeria and the files are being opened. If you are a sponsor of bad things, your time is running out. The US sanctions are the first step. We expect the EFCC and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, the NFIU, to pick up this lead and start their own domestic investigations. You cannot have people on a US terror list walking free in Abuja or Kano. We will continue to track this story as the names of the 6 firms are revealed and as the Nigerian government responds to these heavy allegations from Secretary Rubio. Stay tuned, stay vigilant, and remember, the truth is the only weapon we have.